Morning everyone. It is now the last day of August. So I haven't actually picked up the camera for the last week and a half of my summer holidays because I haven't really felt the need to, and there's not really been much going on. We've had our crochet classes on Tuesdays and Wednesdays still, which are going really well, so I'll pop up some pictures of what they've been getting up to. Really pleased with how everyone's progressing with that. Yeah, so that's been really lovely to see. And today is the last one of the summer. So we've got knit and after today from 1 till 6. We're actually going out for breakfast first because it's a very long day for us. Because we won't finish teaching until 8:30 tonight. So we're going to go for breakfast first, and then we've got knit and natter, and then our last class. There are a few things that I need to show you though, because I mentioned last week, whilst I was at the spa, that I have crochet to show you. I have worked on it a little bit more, but I think I've actually only done maybe 1 or 2 rounds on it since that weekend. So that's the right way around. So this is where we're currently at with my granny square, and I'm turning every row, and I'm doing 2 rows of each colour. Now I haven't added in the spearmint, so I'm using Cherish and Cherished. I haven't added in the spearmint just because actually the colour changes aren't frequent enough to put it against any of the colours in here as a solid. I think the only one it would work next to is possibly the mint, but by that point I'd already sorted out my colour order, and I have actually changed this from the one I started at the weekend, because I started with the orange, then did the white, then the green and yellow, but then when I went to do the orange again, it was next to the yellow and it didn't really look much different, so I have redone it and changed the colour order slightly so that all the colours are together, and then the white breaks it up a little bit. So I'm just going to keep going with this. It's quite a nice size already. So yeah, I'm going to keep going and use up the yarn I have, because I have the 4 balls of the yarn, and actually I haven't really used very much, so I'm hoping it will last a little while longer as well. I'm still using a 4mm hook for it, so that's like my go-to at the moment if I'm not feeling the need to follow a pattern or do anything that requires thinking. That is my current project. It is in a Made by Penguins bag, which I've had for a little while now. So there's that one. I also finished the Kalinda shawl that I was working on, the one that I got wrong and then had to redo. So let's find that. It was in my I Do What I Want Panda bag. I think I still need to weave in the ends, and I ended with this much yarn. Now I haven't fully completed the pattern because it's meant to be made using a sheep peas whirlet, and it's meant to be made with 2 of them, I think. So they have quite a lot of meterage on them, whereas hand dyed doesn't necessarily have that. I'm trying to work out which way up it goes. I think it's that way. Yeah. So can you see the pattern through the back? Yeah, so what I had originally done was, I think I've already explained this. This is the lace section, and I had just repeated those 4 rows over and over again, and I was getting bored of it, and then realised that's not what I was supposed to do. So I had to put it all back, and then it went a bit quicker. So I've actually repeated the whole pattern 3 times now. 1, 2, almost 3 times. I actually ran out of yarn there wasn't enough to do one more row, which is the back loop row, but I don't think it really matters. And actually the pattern says that once you've finished that pattern repeat, you do 4 more rows of the trebles, and then you do 5 repeats of the lace section, which makes it quite a large shawl. And this is actually quite big already. I mean, it's not full arm spans or wing spans, but I mean, it's close. So yeah, I've enjoyed working on that now that I got the pattern right. I think it would be quite a large shawl though if you did the full pattern. So what we're going to do is weave in the ends, because, sorry, really tired. Weave in the ends and where I joined the second ball, and then we're going to try and block it to see if we can get the pattern to spread out a little bit more. That was made using a 3.5mm hook, and it is the Kalinda Shawl. The yarn is by Ammo Yarns and is Water Garden on DK base, which is merino nylon 75/25. 100 grams is 225 meters. So I've used almost 450 meters in this, and I think that's quite a decent size for a shawl. So I'm hoping Ammo will like that. I need to get it blocked and sent off to her in the post. What I've also been doing this week is sorting out the entries I want to put in for the Orsett Show this year, for the knitting and crochet categories, because that's pretty much what I have at the moment. I do have lots of other bits I could enter for things like jewellery, but that's not where I'm at the minute. So I was looking at the entries. I found I could enter a total of 5, 2 knit, 2 crochet, and then 1 novelty crochet, or knitting or novelty crochet, knitting or crochet novelty, oh dear. But I don't have anything in fine thread, so I was having a think, and I thought, well, what if I crocheted in embroidery thread, because that's thinner than your standard 4-ply. It doesn't feel thinner though when you're working with it. And I decided that I was going to make a mandala. So I've actually been doing this one in the middle, just using some cheap embroidery thread that I've got. So let me show you that picture a bit bigger. This is the one I'm doing. This actually came with, it says with Crochet Now magazine. I couldn't tell you when, because I've had it a while. I quite like this one, and what I want to do in the end is hang it in a metal hoop. And this is where I'm at so far. I think I have 4 rows left. It's actually quite delicate. It's not as delicate as I thought it was going to be, but I'm really liking it actually. And I'm using a 2mm hook, which is the smallest I have. So I do have some metal ones somewhere, but I just don't know where they are. The only thing is though, because you start with a slip knot for almost every round, I have quite long ends at the back, just purely based on how I complete a slip knot. And yeah, so I need to try and find a needle to try and sew them in, and then cut off the excess, so that that's not going to hinder the pattern in any way. But yeah, I'm really pleased with it actually. What I have noticed that is, in terms of using the skeins of thread, the ones I have don't have an awful lot of meterage on them, so I couldn't actually repeat the lighter pink colour because there wasn't enough left on that skein to do this round. I did try and I didn't have enough, so I had to switch it for a slightly darker pink. And the same with the purple. I did 2 rounds I think with the purple, and then didn't have any more of that colour, so I had to switch to a darker one. But I have another darker one that I can use, and then I used a darker pink for these 2 rounds. But again, that was another another skein, so I've used 2 skeins in total for all of this pink, and I have 2 more purple ones. So I have another purple to do the next round. I have a darker purple to do the round after, which I'm really hoping there's enough of because that one has started to be used. Then I have white for the round after that, and then if the white doesn't make it all the way around the last one, I have the yellow as well, so I can pick out the yellow in the middle. That's the plan anyway. So I'm hoping to finish that today because I need to get that to the Orsett Show. I'm using the Knit Pro 2mm hook. Yeah, so that's been an experience. It's worked up easier than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be really tricky and really difficult to see, but actually it's fine. So maybe I'll be doing some more embroidery, thread, crochet. So in addition to all of that, I have been working up a couple of samples because we've got some not really nice patterns at the shop, but no samples of the finished item. And actually I picked up 2 patterns that are modular. So I've made one of the squares from this one, which is 5943. There are actually 2 cardigans in this pattern. One is short, one is long. They all use the same motif. It's just how many you have and how you put it together. So I've made that in cherished yarn. And then I've also done a sample for this one, which is a blanket pattern, which is 9683. These are both are they King Curl? No. This one is Starcraft, this one is King Curl. And I've made a square for this blanket pattern. It is a solid granny square, but you change colours so that half of it is a different colour. So I've made a square for that. And what I've actually done is use sample yarn that the shop has. So one half is actually Starcraft Wondersoft, which feels like cashmere, really nice and soft. And the other side is Grace, Starcraft Grace, which actually has mohair in it. So it's 85% premium acrylic, 10% mohair and 5% wool, which means that would be quite nice and warm. But it actually feels quite thick to work with. It says between a 4 and a 6 in terms of size hooks and needles. I used it like a DK, but it actually feels a bit thicker. I mean, you can see that the square is slightly distorted because the Wondersoft is definitely a DK yarn, whereas I don't think the Grace is quite a DK. It's a little bit thicker to work with, but also these are 2 different yarns, so they will behave differently. But yeah, I enjoyed working with both of them actually. They're really nice to work with. I'm not sure about the feel of this one, but I figured I would do it in this yarn because it's sample yarn, so it hasn't cost the shop anything, and it gives people the opportunity to actually feel the yarn worked up into something at the same time. And the whole of this blanket pattern is made with those squares. You make your first initial square, as I have done, and then every time you make a square you then join it at the same time, so you can actually build it up quite quickly. But yeah, so those are the 2 samples I have done. I'll show you the Wondersoft. Is it Wondersoft? It is Wondersoft, yeah. Cashmere feel. So this is actually 50% premium acrylic and 50% polyamide, but it's super soft. It is so lovely and soft. And I thought the You and Me was soft. This is softer. So obviously I think that comes with the price tag, but I don't know what that price tag is. So I've used mint in the Wondersoft and oyster in the Grace. So those two. So this week I've also made a beanie hat using Starcraft Special XL Tweed. This is what I have left over from my lace shawl that I made, which is knitted. We know I don't often knit, so I'm going to make one in this as well. I'll pop a picture up of the petrol one that I did, which is a sample for the shop. Again, that was a sample ball of yarn, so which I think we're now actually ordering that colourway in. So I'm going to make one in this because it's called the 30-minute beanie, and it did take just that. It took 30 minutes. So I think I'm going to try and make another one. I need to get the pattern off my computer though. And I might make one up today actually, because it didn't take very long. So I also have been sent a big gumball of rather pretty 4-ply yarn so that I can make a pair of socks as a sample for Ellen of Mrs. Lamb's Yarns, who is Kalok Shek Ellen on Instagram. So what I'm going to do with this yarn is make a pair of socks from the More It Mag issue 1, because that's what she asked me to do, but I can't seem to find the magazine at this precise moment. I did get it out, it was here. It's hiding. So this was More It Mag 1, and I am going to be making the socks from this issue, which are these ones. So I've had a quick look at the pattern to see if I'm capable of doing it, but it is crochet, and I think most of it is back loop. But what's interesting is it's back loop slip stitches as opposed to like a double crochet or an actual stitch. So they shouldn't take me very long either. Therefore I think that's going to be my project for the coming weeks, because that'll be something different for me to do, I think. Now, because I go back to work tomorrow, my time is going to be a bit more limited in what I can do. However, we have decided to continue the Wednesday evening crochet lessons, at least up until maybe Christmas time, so that people can start working on projects this time and following patterns or learning new stitches, as opposed to learning the basics, because I've mainly focused on the basics for the summer. And then we did granny squares, we've done a solid granny square as well as a traditional one, we've also done some C2C, we've done some joining of squares, so little bits that the majority of the people that have been doing these classes have wanted to try. So yesterday, in yesterday's groups, I also gave them the opportunity to follow a pattern that had some extra stitches in it, like the double treble, and I was there to support more than teach, because the whole idea of this is that they should be able to then move on and work from a pattern themselves without having to constantly ask me questions. I don't mind them asking me questions still, but yeah, it was just building their confidence up really, and being there to help them with it. Anyway, I am looking forward to seeing what they produce in the next few weeks and further, and I've got some that have said that they're even going to look at booking 5 classes at once, so booking them in bulk. And I think we've actually got enough people now that we can do 2 sessions, so it's going to have to be every other week. But I also have some training sessions for school on a Wednesday as well, so I need to fit those into the calendar so we know where we're at, and then we're going to work around it. But I'm really looking forward to continuing this journey with everybody. because I don't get to see them very often anyway, because I'm at work, and they will meet for knit and natter on a Wednesday during the day. So yeah, it's really nice to see everybody and getting to know them a little bit more as well. But yeah, I am gonna get finished getting ready, and then I'm gonna head out for the day. And morning, it is Saturday the 3rd of September. Now, normally the 1st of September, the first Saturday of September, I have a stand at the Orsett Show, which is my local country show. However, I can't actually afford it this year, so I don't have a stall. So I'm going to go to my local yarn shop, and then I'm going to go over to the show this afternoon. Mainly because I've entered some items into the hobbies and handicrafts categories that I do every year, and we haven't had the show since 2019, so I actually had one of the trophies since 2019, which obviously went back before the summer so they could get it cleaned and ready for today. So I'm going to go and spend some time crocheting this morning, and then I'm going to head over and see if any of them have placed, and then collect them as well at the end of the day. So I will pop some pictures up from that, because I am going to go and have a look around. I want to get there with at least a couple of hours to spare so that I can still have a look around. It's been a long time since I've just been to the show as a visitor, as opposed to actually having a stall there. So really looking forward to that. Just spending a little bit of time on my own, or if someone ends up coming with me, then with them as well. So yeah, that's going to be today. During the week, Stanley popped over to the yarn shop. So Stanley's Crochet Workshop, and he gave me a pattern to try, which is for this little octopus. So he's now finished. He's meant to be a little keyring. He's also meant to be done in Yummy, but I only had the DK on me at the time, so he's a little DK octopus, but I think he's quite cute. And I have been searching Hobby, which is Hobbii, for some of their patterns, because a lot of their patterns are free. And I have one ball of Yummy in the Teddy colourway, and I wanted to make a bear with this. So I was having a look for patterns, and so the Yummy ball is 100 grams. The pattern I found is 100 grams, but you're supposed to use 2 balls of their velvet yarn because they're 50 gram each. So I'm going to see if I can print that pattern and make this little bear in this ball of Yummy. So that's one of my things to do this week. I finished off a mandala that I was making to enter into the show, so I will show you that later too. I have finally, it's been almost a year, I have finally wrapped and parcelled up the giveaway prize from last year for Ali. She's also going to knit some socks for us for the shop, so I've put in a couple of balls of yarn there for her too. And last night, because the Crochet Cowl by Rosina Plain was released yesterday, I've bought the pattern already. I just need to decide what colours I'm going to use for it. And last night I decided that I would work on the other Rosina Plain blanket I have, which is the Magic Carpet Throw. And I think I did 3 rows of it last night. So I think I'm going to continue working with that today, because the cowl starts on the 16th of September, which only really gives us 2 weeks. And I'd quite like to have at least one of my blankets finished. I don't think I'm going to get the Postcards with Love blanket finished in 2 weeks, but potentially I could get this finished. Sort of. Because I'm on part 4. No, I'm on part 5. And then as I was looking through the magazine, I realised I don't have part 6. So I had to go onto Ravelry last night and buy the magazine, because it's on there with all the patterns in. So now I have part 6, and the other part I have is part 7. So yes, that was my whirlwind last night, and I think that's everything. So yeah, that is going to be my little roundup of the summer. I think I'm going to film the podcast tomorrow, just so it's, because I'm now back to work. So students are back in Monday, and I'm not going to have any time after that. So I'm going to film the podcast tomorrow. Yeah, and hopefully get some more crochet done. Yeah, I'm going to have to film the podcast tomorrow because some of the items I made in August are at the show. So obviously can't do that today. But yeah, I'm going to get myself finished getting ready, and then I'm going to head out. So if I don't see you tomorrow, I hope you've had a lovely summer, and I hope you've loved or enjoyed spending some time with me and seeing what I get up to. As I said, week 5 and 6 have pretty much been same, quite samey. Nothing exciting to share with you. And now that I'm back to work, that's it. My summer is over now. And yeah, that's about it. So I'll see you all again soon. Thank you for joining me for the summer holidays, and I hope it's kept you entertained anyway. I will probably do another one in October half term, because I think it's quite interesting to see what I do each half term, because I'm not working obviously as a teacher, and that means I get to do all different things and go to different places and stuff like that. So yeah, next one will be October, and then it'll be Vlogmas again. So take care everyone, and I'll see you soon. Bye.